The first thing people heard was the scream. It sliced through the calm, bright afternoon like a blade, sharp enough to make anyone freeze. But not Everett Hale. The former army medic had learned, long ago in a desert far from home, that panic wastes seconds, and seconds can cost lives. When he looked up from the worn leash in his hand and saw the orange glow blooming from the second-story window of the Willowbrook apartments, instinct took over before thought. His service dog, a golden retriever named Valor, stiffened beside him, ears pricked, body trembling with alertness. And then Everett saw it, the tiny silhouette of a little girl, her fists pounding desperately on the glass as smoke curled around her like dark fingers pulling her under. If you believe kindness deserves a second chance, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Echoes of Kindness to support more stories like this. Everett didn't know the child's name, or who she belonged to. He didn't know that her life would soon change his own. What he did know was that she had minutes, maybe less. And so, without hesitation, he ran. His boots pounded the pavement. Valor sprinted ahead, barking with a fierce urgency Everett had only seen in combat. A few neighbors stood frozen on the sidewalk, hands covering their mouths, but Everett didn't stop long enough to shout instructions. He only called once, "Someone get the fire department." Then he disappeared through the open stairwell engulfed in smoke so thick it tasted like metal and dust. Inside, it was chaos. Smoke slithered across the ceiling, rolling down the walls in black clouds that turned the hallway into night. Heat pulsed through the building, rising up the stairwell like a furnace. Valor kept close, guiding Everett toward the apartment door with a surprising precision only a trained service animal could possess. Everett could hear the crackle and roar of fire eating through drywall and furniture. He could feel the sting of smoke clawing at his lungs. But he pushed on, fueled by something deeper than adrenaline, an oath he'd never been able to leave behind, not on my watch. The door was jammed. Everett slammed his shoulder against it once, twice, 3 times until the frame gave way and he stumbled inside. The living room was already a storm of flames, the air shimmered with heat. Flames climbed the curtains, danced across the ceiling, and raced toward the hallway where a small cough echoed weakly from behind a closed bedroom door. Everett didn't think, he just moved. With his arm shielding his face and Valor pressed against his leg, he pushed through the blaze and reached the door. Inside, a little girl, no more than 7, lay curled on the floor, coughing, tears streaking her soot-covered face as she looked at him with terrified, fading eyes. He scooped her up, tucking her small head against his chest. Her breath was shallow, her skin hot with fear and heat. The fire roared louder as if enraged by the rescue, flames snapping hungrily at Everett's back. He turned toward the exit, but the hallway behind him had become an inferno. Flames blocked the path he'd come from. Smoke thundered upward, leaving only one desperate option. The window. Everett kicked it open. Heat rushed out like a living creature escaping its cage. The 2-story drop wasn't far, but not safe either. Still, he wrapped his body around the girl, whispered a prayer, and jumped. The landing jolted through him in a burst of pain that stole his breath. He felt his ankle twist, heard the crunch of impact. But the girl, tiny, trembling, gasping, was alive. Valor leapt after them, landing with a soft thud, and immediately pressed his wet nose against the girl's cheek, whining anxiously as sirens echoed in the distance. Hours later, after paramedics confirmed the girl, Harper Lanes, would recover, after Everett waved away medical attention he definitely needed, and after the fire department declared the building unsafe, he limped back toward the small park where he and Valor usually rested. The girl had been taken to the hospital. Everett had stayed back, answering questions, giving a statement, quietly ignoring the awe in the firefighters' voices when they recognized him, a decorated veteran who'd disappeared into quiet civilian life like morning haze. He never liked attention. Never wanted it. He returned to his daily life the only way he knew how, quietly. The sun had begun sinking behind the trees, casting long golden lines across the grass, when a sleek black car rolled up to the curb. It didn't belong in this neighborhood, where most vehicles were rusted around the edges or sun-faded. The doors opened softly, and a woman stepped out tall, sharply dressed, with the kind of presence that made space instinctively open around her. Her hair was tied back in a clean twist, her heels clicked on the pavement, and her eyes scanned the park sharply until they landed on Everett. She approached him with a steady breath, one hand pressed against her chest as though holding herself together. "Are you Everett Hale?" she asked. He nodded, slowly. Valor lifted his head. "My name is Serafina Lanes," she said. "Harper's mother." Everett immediately stood, wincing from his injured ankle. "How's she doing?" he asked. "Alive because of you," Serafina whispered. Her voice cracked on the last word, and she paused to gather herself. This was a woman who carried the weight of boardrooms, investors, markets, and decisions that shaped futures. But at that moment, none of that mattered. She was just a terrified mother whose child had nearly slipped through her fingers. "Ms. Lanes." "Serafina," she corrected gently. "Serafina," Everett said. "Really, I just did what anyone would." "No," she said with quiet certainty. "You did what almost no one could." She reached into her bag and pulled out a folded check, thick, crisp, and clearly significant even without seeing the amount. She extended it toward him with trembling fingers. "I want you to have this. Please." Everett didn't take it. His heartbeat kicked up with discomfort. "I'm not looking for a reward." Serafina swallowed hard. "Everett, my daughter said you held her in your arms while everything around her burned. She said your dog licked her cheek so she wouldn't cry. She said you told her she'd be okay when even you didn't know if you would be. I owe you more than a number, but this is something I can do." Everett was quiet. He looked at Valor, who seemed to watch him with knowing eyes. The dog nudged his leg gently, as if urging him not to retreat from the world as he so often did. Serafina continued, her voice softening. "And I know you've been struggling, Everett. I know you live alone. I know your service benefits barely cover what you need. I know you've been trying to find work that your anxiety and injuries won't punish you for. Please let me help." He stiffened slightly. "Who told you that?" "I did my homework," she admitted. "I'm a CEO. Research is how I breathe. But I'm not here because you're a veteran or because you're struggling. I'm here because you saved my little girl. And I need you to understand something, some kindnesses deserve to be returned." Everett looked down at his hands, calloused, scarred, trembling slightly. Hands that had saved lives and failed to save others. Hands that had been steady in war but shaky in peace. He had lived years keeping people at a careful distance, hoping the world would forget he existed. But this woman, this mother, wasn't backing away. She wasn't leaving until she found a way to balance the scales. He looked up again as Serafina added softly, "It's not charity. It's gratitude." Finally, Everett accepted the check, not for the money, but for what it represented, a small acknowledgement that his life still held worth beyond memories of battlefields. He didn't look at the amount. He simply folded it and slipped it into his jacket pocket. Serafina exhaled as if she'd been holding her breath for hours. She stepped back, wiping a tear with the heel of her hand. "Harper asked if she could see you again," she said. "Would you be open to visiting her? She keeps asking about the brave man and the golden dog." A smile tugged at Everett's lips, small, rare, but real. "Yeah," he said quietly. "I'd like that." In the days that followed, Everett visited Harper at the hospital. Valor became a favorite among the nurses. Harper wouldn't stop telling anyone who would listen about the hero dog and the soldier who jumped through fire. Serafina sat beside them many times, watching her daughter laugh again, her fear replaced with admiration. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, Everett found himself becoming part of their world.